KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Sports Show. I'm Jason Salas, your sports guy, and man, I am really jazzed and pumped to interview my next guest here in the KUM News Zoom room, Trae Santos, who many of you know, went to Troy University in Alabama, hit 275 as a junior. He was a DH and a first baseman. Got drafted by the San Diego Padres, representing 671 all the time. He's doing his thing out there now as a hitting coach. But if you're like me, you remember the classic 2005 Little League World Series. It was Trae, it was Calvert Alacoa. It was this amazing group of young Guamanians, went all the way out to Williamsport, Pennsylvania, represented us. And people like me were screaming our fool heads off as Trae was on the mound. Trae was at first base, and Trae was representing. I believe, Trae, we came up a little bit short to Curacao, right? But man,
it was a little bit of a beat down there. I don't know if coming up short is the right term, but
it's good to
I
see you,
know.
brother.
Yeah, I know. I appreciate you guys having me. Thanks. It's always nice to be able to reconnect with back home because I often don't get to go back as much as I'd like to. So to be connected in some form or fashion is a blessing, and I really appreciate it.
Well, if there is not a street in your home village of Barrigada named after you at this point, we at KUM we're gonna do what we can to make that happen in there, because you certainly earned it. With the way you've approached the game of baseball, the way you carried yourself throughout your career, and now the way you're actually giving back to the game.
I appreciate that. That sounds like a lot for a guy that just played, a game that he loved and grew up playing on Guam with, friends, and, honestly, baseball being, a really big part of life there in Guam. It's definitely been an honor to be able to represent, the island of Guam where we're from. It's been a blessing, man. There's no naming of streets are necessary. I was a kid growing up and loving every second of it, loving all the opportunities that I've had thanks to my parents and all my family.
All right. Okay, so let me ask you, how old are you now? Because I remember you, when you were in that 05 and that team for the 05. And do you keep up with any of your Little League teammates or manager Sean Munya?
Coach Sean, yeah, we've spoken plenty of times over the years. We're still in contact. I can't remember the last time I spoke with him, but there's always going to be a place in my heart for Coach Sean and all my teammates from that year. I definitely have spoken with some over the years. Some not, but try to keep in touch as much as I can. Whether that's social media or WhatsApp or whatever. So we try the best we can to stay connected.
Well, those are memories not only for you guys who actually took the diamond that day, but for all of us who are watching that game on ESPN. And like I said, this place here, our Harmon Studios, were going absolutely bananas for you guys. So we were with you guys every step. And the one thing, if I can say, you were a dominant pitcher back then, and I saw like your mechanics and the way you attacked hitters and everything. You reminded me a lot of Barry Zito, the way you threw, which was amazing to me, because then when you went on to your college career, when you played for Troy University in Alabama, you were a DH and you were a very dominant DH. So what was kind of like
So growing up, like you said, I have got that Barry Zito player comp, quite a bit.
It's your windup.
Great one. Yeah, great. Definitely a great pitcher to be compared to, definitely not as good, but I do appreciate the comparison. But yeah, so like growing up, I was always a pitcher, went throughout high school, was more of a pitcher than a first baseman type hitter, and I ended up having an arm surgery my junior year of high school. So that kind of set me back a little bit, had to kind of regain the feel for pitching and get the velocity back up. And when I got to junior college, my arm was still on the mend from that junior season. I kind of went through a dead arm period. My senior year, velocity still wasn't quite there. No pain or anything, but just kind of still trying to work back, And I was still pitching in junior college. I DH'd my whole freshman year, and I pitched, kind of in a relief setup type role, and did that. Went to the starting role my sophomore year while playing first base, and then at Troy, went through the fall and ended up having another arm surgery, and ended up not pitching the rest of my junior year. One, because the bat, I kind of found a new, I guess, attained the skill to actually hit at a high level. And we were rolling with our staff, our bullpen, everything like that. Everybody was doing their job, so there was really no need for me to kind of step in at that point.
Again, let's underscore, you hit 275 playing major college ball. That's pretty
yeah,
freaking good.
yeah, and it took a lot of hard work, So I like I was saying in the junior college days, going into junior college, I didn't consider myself as an elite high school hitter, and so I kind of learned from my coaches, and work hard off the field, and kind of found more of a love for hitting that I didn't have naturally like I did for pitching. And then when I got to Troy, I had to remold that hitting and my swing to match the type of player I needed to be at the next level at Troy University, and my aspirations professionally, because I was a bigger guy playing first base. I couldn't hit singles, and that's all I hit in junior college. I didn't hit for much power. So my coach at Troy, Mark Smart, love to this day, still, are in good contact with him. Still try to be involved with as much as I can with Troy, when there's events and whatnot, and trying to support them. But he helped me out and changed my swing for the better, and allowed me to learn how to become a power production type guy, and drive in runs, and try to contribute that way.
Mm-hmm. And so with that success, and with the ability to really, like, baseball's such a game of skill and specialization and everything like that. You got drafted by the Padres. You bounced around, you went through the farm system, and played in various markets and everything. Coming out of that, you've actually been able to parlay your expertise in hitting into a professional career. So tell me how you kind of were able to take that, and now you give back to the game that given so much to you as a hitting coach.
Yeah, so that all started once I got done playing. I always knew I wanted to be involved in the game in some form or fashion, and coaching or instructing has always been kind of that niche into staying connected with the game. And upon moving back to Alabama and getting closer to my family, to be close to them again, my old high school buddy Andrew Hill, and his college teammate Will Fulmer, Andrew started a company called Omri Sports, and so basically we're a private hitting facility that give lessons to kids age 5 through college, and they come to us to seek private instruction. But also, like, for us, it's not so much about, or all involved with baseball. Like, we do the best we can to help all of these players achieve what they want to within their sport, but also try and get to the next level, whether that's playing sports or not. We do our best to try and use our past experience, our former careers, to get these kids to the next level and give them the best opportunity.
Mm-hmm. What is the Trae, what is the key skill as a hitting instructor that you give to a student, regardless of level? Because everybody thinks, okay, well, if I'm going to take a course from somebody who played it at a very high level, it's all about hand-eye coordination and bat speed and patience and everything like that. But what's something from a hitter's perspective that not a lot of people know until they go through professional instruction?
I would say it's more body awareness, like understanding what your body's doing in space, knowing when and where, your hands release to a certain spot to bring the barrel around and whatnot. My friends, my colleagues, I guess you would call them, they kind of give me a hard time because I'm pretty technical. I'm kind of like the nerd in a sense of
Nothing
the
wrong with
group.
that.
Me and I'm just, I try to be technical with some, but also I have to scale it back and try to communicate and reach them in other ways. Whether that's different examples or analogies, something, some weird way to connect with them that's going to help them understand what I'm trying to get them to do. But yeah, I would say spatial awareness, understanding what your body's doing in space, and as well as the hand-eye coordination stuff. But that's kind of that new wave scientific approach to hitting and having the most efficient swing possible.
Okay, so and I love how you mentioned that, like about your swing, because they say in golf, like you could have a million people who play the game, and there's a million different signature swings, and not everybody discovers their own unique swing. Some people figure it out, 2 weeks after playing. Some people can go their entire life,
Yeah.
figuring out. Do you take that same approach in swinging a baseball bat, or do you say like, basically everybody's got the same fundamentals, just kind of like let the game come to you?
I kind of believe in that 50-50. There are some ways that work for most, and then there's ways that don't work for most. And our goal is to as instructors in Omri is to find out what each player needs specifically. We as a company believe that, as well as a lot of people in professional baseball, whether that being high school, college, whatever. There are certain key features in the swing or key positions in the swing that are absolute, that I believe in, and that a lot of people believe in as well. But how you get there is all based on you, and however you want to stand, however you want to wave your bat or whatever prior to those key positions is all relative to you and personal preference. And with us, we just try to cater to that, try to personalize everything as much as we can, make all our athletes as comfortable as possible, because we don't believe in cookie cutting our hitters. We just want everybody to be them, whether that's like modeling their game after somebody that they looked up to. And if that's how they want to hit, then we're going to do everything within our power and our knowledge to make them set up that way, stand that way, feel that way, while achieving those key positions that we think are essential to being efficient at hitting.
There you go. Now that being said, do you find it more challenging as an instructor to teach the art of hitting? And it truly is an art to, like you said, to players who may be like at the high school and collegiate level, or the little ones who are, like you were 18 years ago, just starting to figure out like the game.
Oh yeah, there's definitely challenges with that. It can be hard, but with how much knowledge and experience me and my colleagues have, you've tend to heard things a million and one different ways, and there's a lot of trial and error. But mainly, if we feel as a company and our way of going about things, if we can make sure they're having fun and they're comfortable, they're happy, then a lot of the times they're achieving what we want to happen within a swing. So, like you said, it does come with its challenges. But at the end of the day, if they're not having fun, we're not doing everything we can do to help them be successful.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now that being the case, so like especially when it comes to young athletes, you're a semi-new dad, so congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
At what point will you teach your little one the game, and have you any preferences to say like, okay, well, you should be a first baseman, you should take the mound, you should DH?
I'm not sure yet. Number one, I didn't plan on being a parent this early, or neither my wife or I we plan on being parents this early. But
A blessing
the
nonetheless.
Lord works. Yeah, exactly. So I haven't put too much thought into it. He's I know he's as smart as his mom, that's for sure. He sometimes has her coordination, but there's definitely flashes of him doing kind of stuff that amazes me. So I don't know necessarily that I'd even let him or push him towards baseball. I know that for me or my parents, they never had to, so it was just kind of a natural thing. So I believe that I'll let him kind of choose his own path. I would never want him to have to feel like he has to live up to anything. I just want him to be his own person and enjoy his life, and us support him in any way we can.
Dad of the year. you're off to a great start as being an amazing parent.
Man, I appreciate it. Well, I had great parents, so that's easy for me. I learned from the best parents that in the world, and my grandparents, my parents, they taught me everything I needed to know.
There you go. Okay, so final question, Trae, because you belong in Guam's heart and in Guam sports history to a very, very elite fraternity, right? You're one of not even a full handful of athletes who were drafted by Major League ball clubs. Keith Haddock got signed, J.R. Haddock got drafted. J.R. made it to Toronto Blue Jays. We actually went out there and watched him when he played an away game in Anaheim.
That's awesome.
Do you actually keep up with Keith and JR and just say, we know that we're the few that got drafted?
I know 2013, that's the first time I met JR.
Mhm.
And, you know, he was always a role model of mine and somebody I looked up to. And I actually got to play a game with him. You know, my brother had passed away in 2013 and a lot of his old teammates and friends, we had a memorial game for him and JR actually played in it. So I actually got to get between the lines and play a game with, you know, one of my childhood heroes. So that was an awesome experience.
Very cool. So again, hopefully there's going to be scores more because, you know, like you know, sports is alive and well, like on Guam and on that, you know, bonus extra question, everything like that. Obviously you've been away from your island home for like a while and everything like that. What do you miss most about Guam and, you know, and the camaraderie and, you know, the village rivalries and, you know, like everything that's great about island athletics?
It's just that close-knit culture, man. You know, family. That means everything to me. That means everything to Guam. You know, being, you know, family and community. Everything that we do is, you know, a lot of the times in service of others and making sure people around us are taken care of and happy and healthy. And that's just something I miss the most. You know, my family, most importantly. You know, I don't get to see or talk to them, any of them as much or all of them as much, but no, I miss them dearly and I hope they're all doing well. And, you know, when they see this, I love and miss you guys so much. You know, I try not to get emotional, but I do miss my family dearly and the island in general. You know, it's where I grew up. It's always a challenge and a new experience to explain to somebody where I'm from and educate them on the people of Guam and the island itself and how we're involved with, you know, the United States, which is an odd thing because it's taught in school, but most people don't remember it.
Well, you know, you may have a slight Alabama accent right now, but we know you've still got Guam and Barrigada in your heart and
for sure.
as part of your soul forever and everything, and we really appreciate that.
Man, you know, it's funny you say that. Anytime I talk to somebody from back home, it usually comes out. I don't know whether it's I'm tired right now. I did a full day of lessons, so hope you guys aren't too offended by it. I still have Guam in my heart, and love everything about it.
Not at all, man. It's totally awesome and everything like that. I've got family on the Gulf Coast and everything, and I miss them too.
Yeah, understandable.
All right. So Trae Santos giving back to the game as much as the game has given to him, and again, a great part of Guam's rich sports history, but an amazing 2-week experience for all of those of us who got to see you guys on that incredible 2005 Little League team. And congratulations on your success as a hitting coach right now, and we wish you all the best.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.